forget which one of you that it was, but one of you had suggested that I talk about God or my conception of God. And I think that'll be a good video. And I apologize, there's a river right by where I'm eating and working right now. So there's going to be some background noise, but hopefully I can speak loud enough that it will not be an issue. So, my conception of God. Well, my conception of God has changed. I'm not even really quite sure what it used to be. I don't think that it has ever been a man in the sky or a separate deity. But I guess there was a time where I imagined God to be a intelligent white light that was expansive and infinite, and that light was concerned about me and my personal life and could perhaps grant certain wishes or miracles if that's what God had wanted. And now at 32 years old, I think that that's, for me personally, silly. Because how can on one hand you pray and attempt to do God's will, but yet you petition and pray to God for God to do your will? If God would be so kind, God, I love you, want to do your will, but could you help me get this job? Could you help this loved one? Could you please fix the world? That ideology or philosophy, whatever you'd like to call it, that doesn't make sense to me. So now I would say that my conception of God is not defined. Because how could that which is beyond all comprehension be defined? And that would almost limit the power of God, if you want to call it that. I call it God because it's the easiest way to convey this message in video and conversations with other people. So yes, how could God be defined? How could any human conception be adequate to describe that which is beyond all comprehension, the all-powerful? I would say there's certain descriptions that have made more sense to me, like we are the universe experiencing itself, or the universal mind, or the collaborative consciousness. I think those words and phrases really point to an idea that all is one. And if all is one, then all of the parts of the whole are just as important, because without it, there would be no whole. So I don't know if I completely agree with some people that would say that we're an insignificant planet in the infinite expanse of the cosmos. On one hand, I do agree that that is very true, and I think that that idea and belief bears a lot of good fruits as far as being healthy for the ego. It has a humbling effect. It also shows you how magnificent and absurd the universe is. How if it's infinitely huge, then there's an infinite amount of possibilities, and that this is just one version of that. And if everything's infinite and expansive, then even my own little problems and issues are ultimately insignificant. But on the other hand, I don't quite believe that, because I do believe that without the parts, there would be no whole. And I do believe that we give everything all the meaning that it has. So for me, my own little life and those that I touch and who touch me are important. Because if not, I would have an existential crisis. So with this God thing, I feel that I cannot define it. I have a sneaking suspicion that something deeper is happening. I don't quite believe that my existence is completely pointless and useless because everything is infinite. But because everything is infinite, then my unique, tiny little experience is important to me, and it's up to me to do the most that I can with this given life. Because without that idea and belief, I'm left feeling ultimately depressed, anxious, like life has no meaning. And one of my friends who I look up to, it's an older gentleman, he says that the point of life is to love. And he says, how do I know that? Because it's what feels the best. Like the cell on your foot, it may not know what greater purpose it serves, but it just needs to fulfill its function. So I have no idea of God. I have no conception of God, but I guess I feel God the most when I am loving and doing what I feel I need to do. And how do I know what I need to do? Based off what feels the best. And not in some carnal way, not in some drug addicted way, not in some dopamine addicted way, just in a feeling of your soul. I do what feels right. And I guess that's what gives meaning to my little life in the infinite expanse of the universe. I may not need to know what greater purpose that this all serves. I just need to keep doing what I feel in my heart. I guess I would say that that's my conception of God. Can't bring up God, I guess, without feelings of afterlife or things like that. I don't really know. I'm sure that some of my own neuroses and issues are rooted in the fear of death. I'm sure as I get older and my body gets older, I will have to address that very primal fear. But everything suffers from entropy. It would be really self-centered of me to think that it should be different for the human experience. So, yeah, I hope some of that rambling made some sense. So I would say a short answer to that, the too long didn't read version, is that I don't define God. I don't believe God is a noun. It's more of a verb, if you had to call it that. I'm not sure about an afterlife. I believe that we are both insignificant and significant. And because I cannot prove what God is or what an afterlife is, I can only go off my direct and immediate experience. And my direct immediate experience tells me that the best thing that I can do is keep doing what's good for my heart and for others. And if I keep doing that, it's my best chance to live a happy and fulfilled life. And yeah, I'd say that that's all that I can really know. I can't prove anything else. I mean, how much can I even prove my own my own felt experience? So yeah, I'm not gonna make the video much longer, but I hope this helps some of you. And yeah, take care, guys.